Good Friday morning. This is the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for the next 7 days. We start taking a look at the 100-hour fuel, still quite dry across the southern portions of the Great Basin. You can see this orange yellowish color in the single digits, getting more moist, however, heading further to the north. Precipitation over the past 7 days, not including the past 24 hours, shows that we finally had some significant precipitation across California and actually bleed into the western portions of the Great Basin, where we were a little concerned about the possibility of strong winds and dormant, dry grass and brush. But some of these bluish shades, especially the second and third shade of blue, indicates anywhere from a tenth to a quarter of an inch across the Sierra front, and light precipitation scattered across the higher terrain of northern Utah and into parts of Idaho, and more significant amounts across western Wyoming. In terms of normal, you can see that a lot of this precipitation still over the past week well below normal. However, that's changed recently, and also with some of the new snowfall in the past 72 hours, we actually did have here in the higher terrain of Utah and into Wyoming, yellowish to orange shades, anywhere from 6 to 18 inches of snow. Similar story across the higher terrain of central Idaho, and significant amounts of snow across the higher terrain of California and along the Sierra front. Snow depth, snowpack starting to increase, the deepest still across the mountains of central Idaho, where we're looking at anywhere from 12 to 20 inches, and even higher amounts across western Wyoming, maybe up to 3 feet across some of the higher terrain, basically a few inches to about a foot across Utah, and similar to slightly less amounts across the higher terrain of northern Nevada. Sierra front snow depths increasing now to about 1 to 2 feet. Satellite imagery shows the next storm system, a very potent one now, with clouds enhanced across parts of Oregon and northern Nevada, northern California, all associated with this deeper upper low across British Columbia, which will drop southwards. Also seeing some good subtropical moisture feed from the far south in our developing El Nino pattern. So with the upper level maps for later this afternoon, you see the moisture fills in across about 80% of the Great Basin, except for the far south. There is that other low dropping down across Washington State with its moisture. Here is the ventilation index, good overall dispersion to excellent. We see the white and even into the yellow, a bit limited across parts of northern Nevada due mainly to cloud cover. But transport winds quite strong, anywhere from the dark green to the orange and purple shades, which indicate transport winds anywhere in excess of perhaps 30 to 40 miles per hour. Mixing heights also on the right-hand side pretty good, several thousand feet above ground level, especially where you see the yellows and oranges. Now, for Saturday, that upper low, that storm system very quickly exits out of the region. You can see it here across Nebraska, and the clouds leaving. A bit of a dry tongue behind it, northwest flow, but good overall dispersion given by the white colors here across most areas. Excellent both horizontal and vertical transport. And then if we look towards the transport winds themselves on the left, strongest across the eastern half of the Great Basin, and on the right-hand side, that's also where the best overall vertical mixing will be as well. But vertical mixing good pretty much just about everywhere. On Sunday, a brief ridge of high pressure builds across the western U.S. We have drier air here across the eastern Great Basin exiting, more moisture coming on in, and then looking at the ventilation index, we do see that things do start to decrease a little bit. Looking at Sunday, you see the transport winds are fairly light, and overall the vertical mixing starts to decrease a bit as well. Utah Clearing Index, as we go through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the best days will be Friday and Saturday. It takes a bit of a decrease on Sunday as colder surface air creates some inversions. 3-day precipitation total is pretty significant across the Sierra, across the Wasatch, and across parts of northern Nevada. Looking further down the road on Monday, we see another storm system moving onshore across the west coast. Ventilation index here on the right-hand side. And this storm system really starts overspreading the northern half or 2/3 of the Great Basin on Tuesday. And some of this ventilation or dispersion is a little deceiving. It's due mostly to cloud cover, but there'll be very strong transport winds if anyone's burning in the middle to higher elevations. Wednesday, that storm system exits, but another one develops off the coast, and that one very quickly deepens across California, brings more clouds and precipitation across Nevada and Utah. So a very wet pattern coming in, and probably overall summing up with the storms that dispersion should be pretty good overall. Precipitation accumulations, this will be mainly from Tuesday, late Monday through late Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday looks like a continuation through about the whole Great Basin. So everyone sees some wet weather, a lot of it in the form of snow, over the next 7 days. So a big change in the weather pattern. That change is going to continue into the 8 to 14 day with a large area of cooler than normal temperatures across the Great Basin and much of the country. Also above normal precipitation chances across much of the Great Basin, especially the southern 2/3 of it. Concludes our briefing. Have a great day. Next briefing will be this coming Monday.